Holy shit. There you go. Holy dude.
All right, welcome back everybody to another episode of the Mind of Mando. I'm your host Armando Ortega, and yes, I know it's been a while. I'm not going to play that stupid song again, even though I love it, but I already made that joke like months ago. It's been a while. Like a little over 6 months ago. I think I got it pulled up here. 6 months ago since the last video. 3rd of November, if I'm recalling correctly. And a lot has happened. A lot. I've been meaning to put out videos after that and everything. But you know, life got in the way, as it always does. And I thought what was probably going to be 1, maybe 2 months max turned out to be half a year. We are now on the 1st of June of 2024, and this is the first episode of the year that I'm making right now at this moment. I don't think it's going to be very long, very lengthy video today. I know I've said that before, and it turns out to be very long, very, very lengthy every single time. But I will try and make this one quick because I don't think there's much to talk about. It's more just of an update. You know, in this channel, we've spoken about a lot of things throughout life, a lot of stuff about the good, the bad of life, people, their choices, decisions, the way they affect others, and, you know, the outcome, whether they face justice or they didn't, you know. And we all know that we've talked about all walks of life, you know, just civilians. And we've also spoken about people who are in positions of authority, who are supposed to be placed in a higher standard than everybody else, acting foolish. And in that regard, it is about police officers and everything. I'm not trying to be like, oh, anti-cop now or nothing. No, not at all. It's just, you know, when things happen that are wrong, it needs to be pointed out because other people around the world need to see it and realize that this isn't a reflection of these people as a whole, but of these individuals who happen to have made the dumbest decisions ever and contribute into making a whole group of people look terrible, you know? And it is also touching upon the fact that some people just lack accountability altogether. So about over a year ago, actually, March 6th, 2003, in what episode was it? Episode 63, I made a episode regarding a former Laverne police officer by the name of Megan Hall. You know, if you guys don't remember that, a little bit refresher. Megan Hall was a police officer that was serving in the Laverne Police Department, and in Tennessee, I believe, right? Yeah. Tennessee. She worked as a cop there. And long story short, she decided to start smashing her coworkers and everything. Canine, sergeants, I think a lieutenant in that also as well. And just, you know, police officers, same rank as her and everything. Just decided to start hopping on the police meat over and over and over and over again. Didn't just stop in the physical aspect of it. It was also, you know, through phone, sending photos, videos, etc., and everything. When things like that happen in work in general, not just police work, but just work in general, you know that that's not correct. It happens. People do it. It happens. But when it's done, there's a reason why it is, you know. What the hell? I'm going to take a picture of what I just saw right now, and I'm going to post it up. It's about my cat. Give me a sec. So that is a picture of my cat who decided to jump on some things and make her way up there. She is mischievous, to say the least. Well, anyways, in any job that you hold, back to the original subject, sorry, whether you work at a retail store, grocery store, police, or just a regular security job, or maybe you work at, services for the community, whatever. If you work with somebody, or if you just bring somebody who you know to your workplace and you guys decide to get very physically intimate while at work on company time and everything, you always run the risk of getting caught. And when you get caught, there's no such thing as no consequences unless you are the boss. But even at that, you could still get in trouble. What I'm saying is, if you get caught, you run the risk of just getting fired. And depending on the type of work you do, or if there was any damages or anything like that, charges can be brought upon you, especially if whoever caught you decided to call the police. The very likely would be your boss or anything like that. And charges can be pressed, whether a citation or taken to jail, depending on the extent of everything and what was seen and what was observed. Fired, citation, and or jail. And that's always the risk. And it's just downright inappropriate behavior for the workplace. So when you have somebody who is in uniform, who is sworn to protect and serve the citizens of that location, and is now held to a higher standard, they need to act accordingly, So when you find out that somebody like this decided to just go and get physically intimate with her coworkers and everything, yeah, it is their lives. They were all consenting adults and everything. But in the end of the day, it was brought out to light. And when it was brought out to light, it became everybody's business at that point. So, of course, the memes blew up and everything. And nobody was giving mercy to this police department, to everybody involved, especially to Megan Hall. Please excuse that noise. That was my computer right now. So there you go. Somebody decided to do some stupid crap. A lot of people decided to make stupid decisions, and it caught up with them, and they got caught. And now it's out in the public, and now everybody knows. Now all their pictures are everywhere, their names are everywhere, memes are being made, just overflooded the internet, especially at that point of when it happened, because I remembered it happened at the very beginning of 2023, and it was just like, wow, this is how the year's already starting in, and it's crazy. And it only made it worse for the fact that these were all cops, these were all police officers that did it and everything. That's insane. Well, anyways, after everything was shed up to light and everything, I talked about the whole how she resigned and those officers were caught after the investigation and everything like that, and they were fired, and I think one quit or something. And basically the next thing that were to happen after, I believe, a month of silence was Megan Hall coming back and suing the department. And I also posted up a video, and you know what? I'll do you guys a favor. I'll post it up right now.
By now, most of the country knows what happened. Hall, 4 other officers, and the police chief were fired last month. This after 2 separate investigations found that Hall engaged in sexual activity and or shared intimate photos and videos with several male officers. The chief and 2 sergeants were among those implicated. Now Hall and her attorney, Wesley Clark, are suing those 3 supervisors and the city in federal court for civil rights violations.
Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at as a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited.
Since the story broke, Hall, the lone female officer fired and only woman on the second shift, became a target nationwide for sexual jokes and taunting.
I received harassing and threatening messages on my phone daily. I felt like I had been terrorized.
And yes, now she is suing. No criminal charges have been filed in the case. Hall knows there are those who will say she was a consenting adult who willingly participated in sexual antics in violation of police department policy, and that now she wants to blame others, including one sergeant who targeted her early on.
I know what most people are saying. You could have said no. I get it. But my response to them is that I did say no, and he wouldn't take it for an answer. Eventually, I gave in from pressure.
So it's not as easy to say she could have just said no.
She did say no on several occasions. Miss Hall tried to get out of this relationship, and she was not allowed to.
Hall concedes she participated under duress. She's not saying she was raped, but adds that the salacious details made public of sex on the job put her alone center stage and do not tell the whole story.
They isolated me, they shunned me, they accused me, and they blamed me for becoming a victim.
Hall suffered from depression to the point of considering suicide, and at one point was hospitalized. She felt trapped.
My supervisors worked together to take advantage of my vulnerabilities and my mental health. And they used it for their gain and sexual pleasure.
And that included the police chief, Chip Davis. The independent investigation found he was aware of what was going on and even received intimate photos and videos of Hall.
Who do you even turn to when the chief of police is sexually harassing you? How could I get justice when the entire system, including the chief, not only condoned such behavior, but participated in it? I was lost and I felt alone. I had no one to turn to, and I had nowhere to go.
Hall now realizes her career in law enforcement is likely over, and she knows those ugly memes on social media will remain forever, her reputation sullied.
No woman should ever have to endure this type of abuse. What happened to me during my employment at Laverne's Police Department, it should never happen to anyone.
So as you guys saw, there was a couple of things that I pointed out back then that I'll point out now as well. Essentially, she was reading everything she needed to say off that piece of paper while sitting right next to her lawyer during her interview. And we all know that the reason that happens is because she needed to be very, very, very careful with the words that she was going to say. She is trying to make money. She is trying to basically not have any accountability for her own actions. But if she says something wrong, this could throw her whole case just under the bus. And she gets nothing. She gets absolutely nothing, and her reputation stays tainted. Don't get me wrong, it's still tainted, but now she got something out of it, something that it's kind of like, can make things a little bit not so bad. But I'll get to that later. Well, anyways, the one thing I pointed out was she didn't say the word rape. At any point during the interview, she did not say rape, because to say rape would mean that she actively or verbally resisted their advances, their physical advances, and they physically had to pin her down and penetrate and do everything they did over and over and over and over and over again, while she actively did not want it and actually tried to speak against it and tried to get away, etc., etc., etc. To force sex upon somebody when they don't want to, and they say no, and fighting you especially, you rape them. But that wasn't the case, and she knew that wasn't the case, because there's evidence already of text messages and photos that she was also the party that was reciprocating their feelings, sending photos of herself, sending videos of herself, just talking this dirtiness to them, And look, your hormones went wild. Like I said, you're all grown adults. You want to consent to it, that's fine. Go ahead, do it, whatever. It's your life, not mine. But in the end of the day, there is a time and place for things such as this. And if you decide that the time and place were to be at your job in full uniform multiple times with multiple people, this will run the risk of everything that happened to happen. And that's what it was. And she felt embarrassment. And, to try and save face, it's like, well, let me sue the department. Let me try and make people believe that I wasn't the one who wanted this, that this was actively forced upon me by saying they preyed upon me, they preyed upon me, they preyed upon me. But when it's actually time to talk about the actual actions themselves, not say rape. Because if I say rape and they bring out all this evidence that they already have showing that I actually wanted and was actively engaging in this type of behavior on this conduct, then, you know, false accusations, even I can get in trouble and go to jail, whatever, you know. And that's the thing that annoyed me, because everybody in the world knew that she was just doing this because she did not want to take accountability. And I get it. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. But this is even more embarrassing. It's way more embarrassing for the fact that just own up to it. That's all you needed to do, is own up to it. That's all. Be like, yeah, I screwed up. Yeah, I was a floozy and was just letting myself get passed around like a cheap bottle of wine from 7-Eleven, you know? Whatever. Or better yet, just stay quiet. Just stay quiet. But you brought this lawsuit upon yourself to the police department of LaVerge, Tennessee. And now eyes were right back on you. And everybody was just seeing through your BS, but you kept that. And your husband is a cuck, but I see why he stayed. Oh, hold on. That was weird. That was weird. My friggin' computer turned off real quick. But I see why he stayed. Because I'm like, you know what? I won't keep you guys waiting much longer. Well, anyways, after that happened and everything, she over a year later, headlines again. Well, not so much like last year, but headlines nonetheless about Megan Hall and the update of her lawsuit against the police department of LaVerge, Tennessee. And this is what it's found. City of Laverne settles lawsuit, owes Megan Hall $500,000. $500,000 to this woman. So let's read the article. After the explosive sex scandal inside the Laverne Police Department in 2023, the city agreed to pay former police officer Megan Hall $500,000. Laverne city leaders voted 3-1 during a special meeting Wednesday night. The $500,000 settlement, sorry about my reading right now, which includes no admission of guilt on the city's behalf, settles Hall's lawsuit against the city and 3 of her former superiors. It says right here, the Laverne's Board of Mayor and Aldermen voted tonight to authorize the mayor to sign a settlement agreement between the city of Laverne and former police officer Megan Hall. The agreement was negotiated between the attorneys representing the city and Hall. The city's insurance provider will pay the sum of $500,000 to Hall as a gross settlement, which includes court costs, attorney fees, and expenses. The city denies any admission of liability, and no taxpayer funds will be spent to settle this lawsuit. Okay. We first told you about this mess back in January of last year after the scandal revealed the pattern of inappropriate activity inside the department. Reports detail sex between officers on duty and on city property, intimate photos and videos shared among officers, and silence from the police chief, who was clued into what was happening. Which I was aspiring to protect my family. The Laverne Police Department was not protecting me, she told News Channel 5 in an exclusive interview early last year. Hall and her lawyer claim it was a hostile work environment, and her former superiors... Hall and her lawyers claim it was a hostile work environment, and her former supervisors groomed her. She, along with 4 other officers and the police chief, were fired. Wednesday's vote ends Hall's lawsuit against the city and 3 of her former superiors in the department. Alderman Dennis Waldron was the only dissenting vote. What message does that send to all the other employees, he asked. It's sending a message out to everybody in the world that says, come to Laverne, sue Laverne, because they're going to settle. The city says the insurance provider will pay $500,000 to Hall as a gross settlement, which includes court costs, attorney fees, and expenses. To be clear, that is not taxpayer money. They already said that before. $500,000 to Megan Hall. They said a gross settlement and everything. So I know they're gonna have to take does Tennessee have state tax? I don't know. If they have state tax, take state tax, you know, and for the court fees and the lawyer costs and everything like that. I don't know the exact money after that. I doubt they're going to release the official, you know, net pay that they're going to give her or anything like that. But in the end of the day, the fact that they settled on $500,000 all because this broad wanted to spread her legs, got caught, and did not want to take accountability. And you know what? What was his name? I'll pull this back up. I'm sorry if I sound pissed. This kind of annoys me though. Alderman Dennis Waldron was the only dissenting vote. And he's right. He's correct in what he says. What message does that send to all the other employees? It's sending a message out to everybody in the world that says, come to Lavergne, sue Lavergne because they're going to settle. And that's the truth. That's the truth. In the end of the day, police work is all about holding people accountable for their actions, you know, whether they're doing something major like drug trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking, murder, strong arm robbery, etc., etc., etc. Anything in that lines, you catch those bad guys and you hold them accountable for their actions and make them pay their debt to society. But then the smaller stuff, even the smaller stuff, petty theft, speeding, blowing a stop sign, and even like lewd conduct with two consenting adults, you know, inappropriate public display, whatever, you know, although those might not be as bad as what I mentioned previously, there's still things that have repercussions, negative repercussions, and you are held accountable, even if it's just a misdemeanor citation, you know, and that's it. That's it. And her, like I said, they were all consenting adults. They were all consenting adults. But the fact that she even says, look, they groomed me. They groomed me. You are a grown woman. A grown woman who has had her ups and downs, who has made mistakes, who has made great choices, and has learned from all that stuff. Then you made a stupid choice. You made a stupid choice and you were caught. And when you were caught and you were made fun of, whatever, take your lumps, and just say, oh man, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. But you know, maybe she's smart because, I know damn well had this been any other dude and everything, sucks that I'm going there. Very likely he wouldn't have gotten that $500,000 settlement. Very likely not to get that $500,000 settlement or anything. This was just a huge scandal that she was embarrassed by, and yeah, she got awarded $500,000 for it. You know, that's insane. I'm not saying she doesn't have to work at all for the rest of her life. I don't know if Tennessee is that expensive. It's Tennessee. What's out there? But she has a very good foundation now to do what she would like to do, you know? And that's what I'm saying. Her husband stuck to her for this whole thing. I don't know, maybe he is a cuck. But what do you call it? He's getting a slice of that pie, you know? And once everything's like, you know, she gets all that money after all the fees and taxes and everything. I don't know if Tennessee's a 50-50 state, but if it is, he divorces her and he takes 50% of that money because, come on, you know, unless they sign a prenup. Oh, that annoys me. That annoys me. It annoys me way too much, to be honest. One second. Oh, man. But, lesson learned. Doesn't matter if you're a cop, you know. You do stupid crap, it's going to get caught up to. Well, anyways, fitting with the theme in this one, just one more small one. There's another one after what I'm about to speak about right now, but to be honest, that one, it's probably going to be an episode on its own. So this one, a few months ago, actually, like about 4 months ago or so, Merced, California, PD. Merced PD officer allegedly caught in bed during raid of known gang member. Why? Why do you do things like this? It's just why? You just think. This is stupid. This is really ridiculous because it's like, one, you should know drugs are bad. One. Two, you should know drug dealers risk going to jail and prison because doing that is illegal and it's bad. And three, you went and became a cop. My hand looks... You went and became a cop. This is what you're supposed to be going against. And this is who you're sleeping with? This is what you do? Four, look at this dude. Look at him. What the hell? Are you seeing this? Oh, sorry. Oh my god. Are you seeing this fool's mugshot? Are you... What? What was that? What is that? El Miguelito, is that his name? This fool? Nah, it ain't even his name. And he has like what, Louis Vuitton tattooed underneath his lip. Jesus Christ. What is that mustache? I have a similar mustache. I need to shave. Well, anyways, this says right here. Approximately 3 weeks ago, but this was about 14 weeks ago, so it's been over 4 months already. The Merced PD's gang unit raided the home of known gang member Edward Ramos. During the raid, a nude female crawled out of bed where she and Ramos were when the raid occurred. She was identified as Merced PD officer Leia Garcia. During the raid, it was also learned through their cell phones that Garcia had been communicating with Ramos regarding investigation by the Merced PD. Merced PD has confirmed that Garcia has been placed on administrative leave, but would neither deny or confirm any of the allegations regarding Ramos and Officer Garcia. And see, that's the... Why do I keep doing this? Jesus. And see, that's the ridiculous part. That's the ridiculous part. Like, okay, alleged... We know when it says alleged, it means it happened, but we can't just absolutely just confirm it right now for whatever legal reason and everything. But it's like, why would your own police department make this up? Your own police department was like, hey, we don't like this person, so let's just make up stories about her and let's all be in on it and everything. That she was smashing this freaking thing, this thing, you know, and being like, hey, that's a good looking dude. It's like, holy crap, you know? And it's just like, I mean, she looks like her name is Helga. I'm sorry, I'm being mean right now. But it's like, dude, you're a cop. You're a cop. You're not supposed to be doing this, especially if you know that this guy is a gang member, especially if you know that he is going to get raided possibly and everything, because somebody who's a cop, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth, especially if you're a female cop in a male dominated work environment such as police work, you are going to make a lot of great connections in a lot of high places very, very quickly and very easily. So I have no doubt that she probably knew somebody in what was it? In the gang units. Yeah. Don't doubt it. But it's just like, dude, if you knew that the gang unit is targeting gang members, maybe you shouldn't be sleeping around with a gang member. It's, I don't know. Give me a sec. That's just my way of thinking. That's what I think, you know. But how embarrassing, dude. You know how embarrassing is that? You're smashing this fool, this thing. You're smashing this dude, and the gang unit breaks into the house and goes like, yeah, we're serving a warrant, raid that crap. And then you and him are just naked as hell in his bed, and they come in, they're giving you orders, pointing rifles at you guys and everything. And then you have to crawl out of that bed completely naked in front of all your coworkers, and then when they ID you, when they finally get a good look at you, holy crap, we work with you. So they saw your little goodies, bits and goodies and everything like that. They see you. They saw all of you now. But you're smashing a gang member, dog. Like, and what gets me is administrative leave. I'm sure that's their policy, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. And what it says during the raid, it was learned through their cell phones that Garcia has been communicating with Ramos regarding investigations by the Merced PD. So she knew, and she needs to go to prison. She needs to go to prison, and she wants to be with. Well, even she can't be with her boyfriend if she goes to prison, because if he goes, he's gonna go with the dudes, and she's gonna go with the chicks. Administrative leave. Oh my God. If she wants to avoid prison time, she is going to get the hell out of Merced. She's going to get out of the States in general, you know, and go into hiding. She'll never be allowed back in this country unless she like gets like face reconstruction surgery or whatever, you know. Way to ruin your life. Way to ruin your life. That's insane. And that's what it comes back down to. Like, dude, you're supposed to be held at a higher standard. And you're acting foolish, making foolish decisions like a fool. So, excuse me. So yeah. Well, anyways, oh my God, this is the guy. This is the. Okay. Well, anyways, what can I say now? Let me just exit all that. All right. Well, again, sorry for it being how long since I posted up a video. Like I said, a lot of things has happened in my life, and just, yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to do this more often. Just working a lot more now and stuff, and I've been meeting goals. I've been meeting a lot of goals in my life, so that's actually pretty good. And I'm going to meet hopefully another one by the end of this month. So whenever things keep going, when momentum starts picking up again, I'll keep updating you guys on a lot of things. Well, other than that, thank you all for joining me once again for another episode of the Mind of Mando. And I hope all of you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Look both ways before you cross the street, because you never know who's driving like a dumbass. So yeah. Also, Dying Light. It's a good game. I've been replaying it a lot lately, and just I'm gonna play it again right now. All right, guys. Well, anyways, like I said, thank you for joining me once again, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.